everybody.
Hi, friends. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, Dan, on the show, you heard it here first, people. Embryos are people.
You did not hear it here first. We've all heard it. Alabama has decided to really sock it to all those embryonic murderers out there.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
This
is a special one.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. It's a big deal.
Yep.
It's just about as stupid as you could get. It's about as dumb as it could be.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb that the rest of the Republican Party nationally is just like, what? No.
Yeah.
So
except that now I guarantee you they're going to try the same thing in all the other states.
I'm sure. Anyway, we got some other stuff coming up first, but first it's good to be back, Dan.
What?
It's good to be back.
Oh yeah, you and I were.
And thanks to Kate for filling in last week.
Yeah,
so.
we've had 2 weeks of not Frank and Dan.
Yeah, wild. Well,
So,
anyway, and
thanks for bearing with us, everybody. Last week there was a bit of a snafu when the show didn't get posted at its usual date and time.
Yeah.
Great apologies for that. But it's there now. I don't know if you guys checked it out.
Go back and have a listen. And in the meantime, if you haven't already gotten to that, we've got some news for you guys. Some stuff
indeed.
Happened this week, including France taking advantage of their new immigration laws.
Oh.
They have exported an imam by the name of Mahjoubi. I don't get that sort of naming. That'd be like Robert Roberts, right?
Yeah,
like
that happens.
Mahjoubi.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess that does happen from time to time. But anyway, he was evicted from France.
Oh my!
Because he made some unacceptable comments that found their way online. Now, this guy is no big deal. He's an imam in a small city in the south of France.
Mm-hmm.
And but again,
did he say that pate was not delicious, or somehow put down wine, French wines?
No, he criticized the tricolor flag.
Oh. Oh, well, so along the same lines.
It was essentially the same thing, Dan. He says that it's satanic, and that it has no value with the law.
Why? And, what's satanic about blue, white, and red?
Well, I don't know, and the French didn't stop to ask. They just kicked him out.
No, this is you have gone too far.
We don't
care. Away with you.
This is our very special flag. After 38 years of living in France, he was returned to Tunisia. Now, the article does continue. He's not some... They had some other things, but this was definitely the straw that broke the camel's back.
Wow.
And that got the French government's attention. Apparently, according to the statement, the expulsion order, I guess, the imam had promoted a, quote, retrograde, intolerant, and violent image of Islam, likely to encourage behavior contrary to the values of the Republic. Okay. It also stated that his teachings encouraged discrimination against women, tensions with the Jewish community, and jihadist radicalization.
Who would have thought of such a thing out of an imam?
And I guess he also referred to Jewish people in general as the enemy. So yeah, I mean, this is not some great contributor to French culture, I suppose.
Right.
And one that the French are feeling kind of sensitive to this large group that's come to their country that is using France as a place to spread radical Islam, right?
In
Which
fairness,
I don't get the difference between radical Islam and Islam, but like whatever.
You're gonna get an email about that. What's funny to me is like this idea. I get that France has had some very negative experiences with Islamists in the last few years. I also think, you know what, you're not going to solve by like kicking people out of the country that you don't like. Radicalization. That is, you're only helping that cause.
You add to their narrative.
Yeah, exactly. Enfranchisement is the way to like stop radicalization.
But the problem is, it does seem that the sort of radical Islamist group of people, they don't want enfranchisement, right? They don't.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
It doesn't feel like it, right? And if they do want it, they want it at your expense, right? Yeah, like maybe. I don't know where I stand with the whole France and their take and whatnot on Islam in their country. Because we've talked about, their burqa bans and whatnot. And it, like, I think we have on the show taken sort of one side and then taken the other side. And I'm just kind of at the point where I don't know what the right answer is. I know that I would feel what's strange is I would feel a little uneasy if the United States kicked somebody out for criticizing the American flag. Yeah. But I would also somehow feel like, well, at least something's being done about radical religious types, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, can we start at least here? Can we start with the Christians?
Can we send them all back to where did they come from? Holland or England by way of Holland? Like,
right.
Let's send the radicals back there.
Yeah, exactly. You can have them. Somebody take them.
Get the Puritans out, people.
Yeah. I mean, we really do need to just let go of Texas and then ship them all to there. Anyway, I don't think France has the answer. Yeah. Part of what I'm getting at is I don't think that France has the answer just by kicking out a guy and on the most trumped up of, like, yes, he's been problematic this whole time, but then you let the final reason for it be a flag issue, like just speech about the French flag. Shut up. You cannot be that dumb. Oh my God. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. By the way, the American flag is satanic. There, I said it.
Oh, Dan, you're getting kicked out.
I'm getting kicked out. All right. Well, I'm going to take us to New York, where I don't know. Have you ever been to the lovely St. Patrick's Cathedral there on Fifth Avenue in New York?
Mm-mm.
It's right next to Rockefeller Square, right? Rockefeller Center. Anyway, it's a big, beautiful cathedral. It is the sort of the seat, the mother church. I think that's actually a phrase, the mother church of the Archdiocese of New York.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, it's a big deal church, and it's the site of, back in the 80s, major protests by gay Catholics and AIDS activists against the Catholic Church. So there's a lot of history there. It is what do I want to say? It's a figurative place. It is and
symbolic.
So it is. And so it's kind of a big deal that they allowed a funeral for a very active, very important trans woman.
Oh,
this last week.
Really?
Yeah. She was an activist. she was a big deal. Her name was Cecilia Gentili, and she was a huge deal in New York LGBTQ activism. And so when she passed away recently, they reached out, and I am confused about this. I will be honest. They reached out to St. Patrick's to see if they would host the funeral, and went through channels. Apparently they don't deal with people with, the sort of masses. What they deal with is funeral planners at like funeral homes or whatever. Anyway, somehow this whole thing was okayed, which is crazy, but it was.
Okay.
That's awesome. That seems great. Right now the Pope has been pushing for a thaw in the freeze out between the Catholic Church and the LGBTQ community.
Huh.
Well, here's the thing. The cathedral sort of allowed the organizers of this thing to do it as they wanted to. They had their own speakers. They had Billy Porter came and sang a beautiful gospel tune. It was an event. And I don't know if you friends at home have ever been to a funeral for a prominent LGBTQ person, but it is not going to be the somber affair that probably the people in that cathedral are used to.
Right.
It was a rowdy crowd. First of all, the place was packed. And then, you've got LGBTQ people coming up and giving talks. And here's the thing. This woman she was an activist for trans rights. She was also an activist for sex worker rights because she herself had been a sex worker at one point. And so in one of the talks that was given, and it was given by two people, one was doing it in Spanish and one was doing it in English because she was of Latin American descent. I don't remember where she's from. Anyway, like this talk was like they said, quote, this whore, this great whore, Saint Cecilia, mother of all whores. And this is a celebratory thing. Like they're not insulting her in this.
Yeah.
They are celebrating her, and the house went crazy. They cheered like only LGBTQ audience that understood what was happening here, that understood that this was a celebration of this person. Would cheer. This freaked the Catholic world out like you cannot believe.
Of course it did.
This was because they're just honoring this woman in the way that they would that this community would honor one of their fallen heroes.
Right.
And oh my God, you would not like I first encountered this story. I was on Twitter and someone had tweeted this and said, this is terrible. And they showed a video of this person in St. Patrick's College doing this great whore, St. Cecilia, mother of all whores thing. And I was like, why is it terrible? Well, they're celebrating their person.
Right.
And they're like, this is an attack on Catholicism. And I was like, what are you talking about? Catholicism was not mentioned. Right. Blah, blah, blah. And then I saw another video of someone had posted of Billy Porter's song. And the way that it had been, that the tweet had been written up, it was like, left-wing gay activist Billy Porter, who had, Joe Biden toured with him and he blah, 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 blah. This is just unbelievable and sick, mocking our Father prayer. Let me tell you something. The lyrics of this song were super churchy. This was a gospel song. It was beautiful, actually. He sang it beautifully, of course, as you'd expect. Nothing disrespectful in the lyrics of the song or anything. It uses some of the words from the Our Father prayer just as a lyrical device.
Right.
but unbelievable and sick. And obviously this is just like, I don't know what to say about gay people being allowed to do it, but like then the Cardinal Dolan, who's the cardinal of that archdiocese, came out and said it was disrespectful, that they were all disrespectful. And like, so now it has become a whole big to-do, what a thing that could have been an opportunity to extend an olive branch. Because let's be clear, Jesus, like if you're offended by the, mother, by the patron saint of horrors line or whatever.
Right.
Let's recall that Jesus hung out with prostitutes.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like Jesus was all about holding hands with the people that he disagreed with or whatever.
Right.
This was an opportunity for that olive branch to be put out. But they also, I mean, clearly the communication between the church and the organizers of this event was not strong. It was not. So anyway.
Oh, that's, I mean,
it didn't go well. Nobody is happy about this.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And my guess is it probably was communicated. It's just the people who made the decision didn't anticipate I don't know.
Yeah.
The reaction maybe unwisely. Yeah. Or maybe they just didn't understand the full implications of and what exactly was going to, like, the extent to which it was going to be a celebration of life, right?
Right.
So.
And make no mistake, there were priests walking around there. Nobody was trying to put a stop to any of this.
Right.
They did there was one time when on a hot mic somebody caught someone, we don't know whose voice, saying to the priest who was conducting the whole affair, don't do a proper mass, just do a funeral service. There's a difference.
Oh, okay.
All right. And that's what ended up happening, and that also caused some kerfuffle. And it just ended up being. First of all, this was a bad idea on the part of the organizers of this funeral. Like, you do it in like, this woman had been on off-Broadway show, like one woman show. She had been on the TV show Pose. Like, do it in a theater. That's where this belongs.
Oh, no. No. They wanted this, Dan.
Well, they got it.
And maybe if they didn't specifically want it, because that's saying sort of, that's framing it wrong. They were open to it, and they knew the risks and who was going to be pissed off, and they didn't care. Yeah. They wanted the statement. And whoever is offended be damned, right?
Yeah, it's a little weird because Cecilia herself was an atheist, though she had been apparently on a recent spiritual journey, whatever that means.
Okay, I did not know that detail.
But she had been raised Catholic, obviously. Sure. So,
well, whatever.
I don't know. There you go.
Well, okay, Dan. I actually have a little story that is, I guess it's an update of sorts, but it's about this ongoing phenomenon in this country, Dan, of these horrible, absolutely horrible satanic displays that keep popping up on public grounds, like
it is horrible.
City halls and state capitol grounds and what have you.
Can't someone think about the children?
And what's remarkable to me is how much this story just keeps going, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it feels like the conservatives have really gotten to a point where they are just absolutely fucking fed up about these satanic displays.
We got to do something.
And so down in Arizona, a bill was introduced and actually made it through committee that would have forbidden representations of Satan on public property. Now, it failed this last week in the state Senate when two Republicans joined up with the all the Democrats in the Senate and voted against it. But what I really like is the comments from these two Republicans. Because, first of all, and this is important, Dan, because there was some speculation that this bill was going to cause some problems for the mascot of Arizona State University, which is Sparky the Sun Devil.
Oh, right. That's right.
Okay. So there was some concern about that. The Republicans in support of the bill were like, this is hooey. This is ridiculous. Of course, that's not what we're trying to do here. Right.
Yeah. But read your own fucking bill.
A satanic display on public property, which of course Arizona State University is public.
Right.
So let's see. This is from Juan Mendez. He's a Democrat in the Senate. He says this proposal isn't even a dog whistle. This is a straight up attack on the rights of people and religion.
Yeah.
Any religion that can be viewed by the sponsor or this committee, if they view it to be a desecration to Christianity, you're no longer safe in Arizona, is what he says. And this is from Republican Senator J.D. Mesnard. He said that he didn't vote no because he's defending Satan, right? Or
yes.
defending Sparky the Sun Devil, but because he wants to protect religious freedom. He says, I am obviously repulsed by Satanism. Ooh.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, he says.
Right.
But I oppose singling out a religious belief, however antithetical it may be to my own.
There you go.
And that's it.
It's that easy.
Yeah. That's it right there.
Fucking
people.
Idiots. It is literally as simple as that.
Yeah. And there's a Republican who gets it. And so I say...
And now he's going to be voted out of office because hell no.
Poop. But he saved Sparky the Sun Devil. He can
Hooray.
always claim that. So.
Oh my God. The Sparky element was the one I wasn't ready for, and I love it. I am so happy about it. That's amazing. Well, they should change it. It shouldn't be a devil.
Yeah. I mean, that's Sparky the Sun... the son
the son Jesus. How about Sparky the son of God?
The son of God. Sparky the son of God.
Jesus' brother Sparky, Oh my God. Okay, well, since we're on the subject of bills in state legislatures, I'm going to take us to the state of Georgia.
Nice.
And only good things happen in the south of these United States. I think we can all agree on that. You were just talking about a Republican who believes in religious freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is a religious freedom bill that is making its way through the government there, trying to become a law. It is along the same lines of a bill that passed in 2016 and was then vetoed by then Governor Nathan Deal, who was a Republican. Mind you, that is because it is basically the bill is, they say that it's all about religious freedom, but you'll never guess what religious freedoms they're really trying to protect when they do this, because it's the same religious freedoms that the Christian right is really working hard to enshrine all over the country. And those are basically the freedoms of businesses to discriminate against gay people,
right?
And the freedom of doctors not to have to, provide healthcare that they find religiously icky. And, basically it's that religious freedom. It's not
right.
They don't want
it's not the free
Satanists.
practice of religion.
Yeah. This isn't about the safe practice of people's religion. It is about forcing, it is about allowing hate speech if they want to.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It is about allowing discrimination.
But hate speech is an important part of my free practice of religion.
Right, exactly. Exactly. If I can't hate on the Jews and the queers, how free am I really?
Right.
So that's what they're trying to do in Georgia.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. And apparently, who knows? I mean, if the Republican governor in 2016 was like, this is probably a bridge too far. Well, and what happened was that like Georgia businesses were like, hey, we're not going to be able to get anybody to come and live here.
Right.
We're like, tourists are not going to come. We're going to lose money.
Right.
If you do this shit. And so that's why the governor vetoed it, because it was bad for business. But apparently they don't care about that now, because now is the time when we can just pass anything crazy on the right, and it's just a bad moment in our history.
There's just so much crazy going on. Are we really going to notice their little bit of crazy?
Right.
So,
yeah.
All right. Well, Dan, here's some crazy for you. Trump, God, I hate saying his name. Donald Trump took the opportunity this last week to speak at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Nashville, Tennessee. He had a message for these Christian broadcasters. Oh, I'm sorry, religious broadcasters.
Come on. You know exactly who they are. You and I are not members of this organization.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Anyway, so he had a message that he is going to defend Christianity in his next 4 year. I'm sorry, his reign, his upcoming impending termless reign.
Yeah, his next 26 years as supreme leader.
Oh God! Thank God he's an old man, right? Because if he does get in, like, ugh.
Oh yeah.
At least we don't have.
Suddenly,
there's a good chance
McDonald's
he'll
will
die,
be putting
but in
McDonald's
office.
will start putting extra cholesterol in their burgers.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but he let's see some of the. I just decided to pull some quotes from some of the stuff that he had to say. Let's see. He says they want to tear down crosses where they can and cover them up with social justice flags.
Oh, wouldn't that be a shame?
Those horrible social justice flags.
Which must mean pride flags, but
must mean pride flags and
he's had run-ins with Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives
flags
Matter,
too.
yeah, stuff like that. But he continues, but no one will be touching the cross of Christ under the Trump administration. I swear to you. He says, remember, every communist regime throughout history has tried to stamp out the churches, just like every fascist regime has tried to co-opt them and control them. Oh my! Okay, like I read that sentence and I'm like, well, he got that kind of right.
You mean his speechwriter got that kind of right?
But then he continues and he goes, and in America, the radical left is trying to do both.
Okay, come on.
First of all, just try to wrap your head around the idea of being the ones who are trying to do both, right?
Yeah,
we're both
exactly.
trying to co-opt the churches and get rid of them.
It's almost diabolically brilliant if that could be pulled off. We're both going to co-opt. I mean, frankly, I'm actually on board now. Now that's what I want the Democrats to be doing.
Whatever. Like, no, you don't try to stamp out the churches, right? Like we've seen how that ends up going.
Yeah, and you just point out. Yeah, exactly. You do what we're doing and gently nudge people away from them.
Fine. You don't go to the extreme of an all-out ban, right?
Right, exactly.
I think there are things that we should be doing. I think we should be taxing the churches.
Yes.
I think the church is getting like this free ride. I think that needs to end, but that doesn't mean the end of churches. That just means, why are we giving you this benefit? There's no reason for us to be giving you this benefit.
Can I just say, I love the idea of Donald Trump talking to a room full of Christians and saying, fascists co-opt religion
Isn't it amazing?
for their purposes. Watch out for that, you guys.
From the Dems.
Be scared of when fascists try to co-opt the religions. Good Lord.
It's unbelievable that he can't even hear it, right?
But then he went on to something after that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think you were saying that he had a next sentence.
Well, yeah, and in America, the next sentence was, and in America, the radical left is trying to do both. But then, like, some of the other things that he pulled, or that I pulled, let's see, the left is trying to shame Christians. They're trying to shame us. I am a very proud Christian. And he's feeling, he's feeling very shamed these days.
Oh.
Or he should be feeling ashamed.
Yeah, I think we are trying to shame the Christians. I think that's true. Only for things that they should be ashamed of.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not trying to shame you for liking Jesus.
No.
We're trying to shame you for being a hateful bigot.
Yeah. Practice your faith all the fuck you want. Go for it. You know, it's fine. Just keep your hate out of, my life.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah. All right. I am going to close this off with a delightful little moment. I've mentioned Twitter before on today's episode.
I'm sorry, what? What are you talking about? I'm not familiar with this.
The website, the website Twitter, the app Twitter.
I'm sorry, I have a very bad short-term memory. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. There's only Twitter. There is no Dana, only Zool. Anywho, there was an interesting tweet that went out this week from one Brian Houston, who is who's like a founding pastor of the Hillsong Church, which is a big deal, sort of mega church franchise that has now taken over, that got popular in Los Angeles and got, blah blah blah. But it started in Australia, and I think this guy's actually a Kiwi. I think he's actually a New Zealander. But,
I'm confused, Dan. There's too many moving parts.
Calm down. We're going to be okay. Anyway, he tweeted out a thing late at night recently, and the tweet said simply, "Ladies and girls kissing."
What? That's all it said?
That tweet stayed up for a little while, about 16 minutes, and then was deleted.
Oh.
And then another tweet went up that said, "I think my Twitter may have been hacked."
Uh-huh.
See, he calls it Twitter too.
It's more like he confused it with Google, and
bing,
that's
bing,
what
bing.
he was looking for.
Exactly the point. I think like it's such a doofus old guy maneuver. He clearly thought he was just Googling for ladies and girls kissing.
He thought it was the search bar.
And then when he figured it out, was like, hackers do things, right? Hack. It was a hack. Yeah, it is so dumb. So amazing. And then
he's
another
like,
tweet went out.
I'm sitting here, I'm typing this. Normally it auto completes. Why is it not auto completing and making other suggestions? Women and girls kissing.
Ladies and girls. It's even worse than women.
Ladies and girls.
It's so. Can we look? I wanted to get through the story beforehand, but no, we got it. Let's just talk about the fact that is the worst porn search of all time.
Gentlemen and boys kissing. That's my search.
I mean, part of the question is,
ew.
What does he mean by ladies and girls?
No.
Does he mean like young girls? I don't know what he means, but
or does he just not respect women enough to call them call them girls?
It is such a boomer porn search. It's I loved that Hammond over at the Friendly Atheist wrote that it was like going to Pornhub and typing boob. It's just so bad. Like, that is so dumb. Anyway, his assistant tweeted on her account that it was hacked. He was hacked, and we've changed his password so they no longer have access, we hope, and blah, blah, blah. All of this is obviously just cover. And then they tweeted out what they wanted us to believe was proof of this hack, this unusual login, which was detected.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I'm sorry, first of all, it's a different account. They tweeted out an image of an email from Twitter saying, "We noticed an attempt to log into your account that seems suspicious. Was this you?" The account that they're saying there was an attempted login to is a different name. It's not at Brian C. Houston. It's literally at Brian Hust 38619.
Oh.
They called somebody, and it says suspicious location, Phoenix, Arizona, blah, blah, blah. They called somebody in Phoenix. I don't know how they finagled this, but it's wrong in literally every possible way. And also, we know that this was an attempt to log into an account. This wasn't even an actual login. When there's
suspicious, Dan.
When there's a suspicious attempt, they actually don't allow the login. Anyway, everything is wrong. Brian Houston very clearly was just doing a porn search,
which he should be fine with.
Yeah, just
right?
don't.
I mean, except for the hypocrisy part of it, but everybody should just be like, yeah, I look at porn.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I mean, he could say that he was working on a sermon against lesbians and he wanted an image for it. He could say any number of things.
Or he wanted some disgusting stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Any number of things. He handled it in exactly all of the wrongest ways possible, and I am delighted. I am absolutely delighted. So anyway, amazing. Brian Houston likes lesbian porn. That's
yeah.
There you go. Oh my God. Well, if you would like to tell us about your porn searches or about accidentally tweeting out something that you meant to keep to yourself, you can write into us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. We'd love to hear from you. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. We've got more show coming up.
Well, Frank.
Dan.
We've played Lance Wallnau before.
Too many times, actually.
Oh.
Too many times.
Now you've made it awkward because I'm going to play him again.
Oh, no. All right.
Here he goes. He's going to talk about our favorite guy, Donald John Trump. And he's going to he's got a biblical message about who Trump is. We'll just let him tell this. It's good stuff.
I look at this like Job in the Bible. If the CIA and the FBI and the NSA and the DHS is as corrupt as I think they are, they would have killed him by now. They can't touch him. It's like God said, you can't touch his family, you can't touch his body. Go ahead. Now here's the criminal part for us. I think we're the covering in prayer. So any gleeful ding-dong Christian that is sitting back smugly and saying, well, this is what you get because of his personality, you're even worse than the other side is. Because this guy is actually out front on your behalf. In a sense, we prayed him into position, and he's the Job going through an American trial right now.
They prayed him into position, Frank.
Oh, my God. An American Job.
Yeah. Wow. Somebody write that book. The amazing thing to me, first of all, I loved Lance's song about the DEA and the FBI and and the CIA.
Someone needs to write that song, actually.
I feel like he's got a future in rap if he wants it. I also love the idea of like, if they're as corrupt as I think they are, they would have killed him.
Yeah.
Therefore, it feels like there's a logical conclusion
that they're not as corrupt as you think they are
to those premises. Yeah, this is where the lunatic right is, and it's not a small number of people that live there,
and they're just they've let all reason just go.
Yeah. That all of our like law enforcement agencies in this country are so corrupt that if it weren't for the protector force field of Jesus surrounding Donald Trump, he'd be dead. They'd kill him.
He must have some really important work to do, Dan.
It's so true.
For Jesus to be pulling out all the stops. Protection.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean, have they thought about the fact that maybe Jesus was protecting him for E. Jean Carroll's sake? So that he would have to pay her? That would be great.
That's funny.
All right. Well, we have some people who wrote into us and called into us and all sorts of great stuff. So let's just dive right into that. This is from John in Memphis, who says, "Hey, Frank and Dan, I was listening to the latest one, and you mentioned some things about the trustworthiness of people. I've been in customer service to some degree my whole career. I'm 55 now. This has given me a ton of experience with people of all kinds. If someone were to ask me if I trust people in general, I would say, hell no." Which sucks because my nature is to trust people, but my experience says that you cannot trust people. I was a Christian for many, many years. I'm now an atheist. I've been involved in the deepest depths of Christianity. I've dabbled in Buddhism, Taoism, atheism, universalism, etc. The thing I've learned is that people are people. Regardless of what they say they believe, they are looking out for theirs and themselves.
Oh. Yeah.
COVID proved this. People bought as much toilet paper, water, hygiene products, etc. as they could.
But if you didn't get it in that moment, you weren't going to get any.
You caught somebody, John. You caught somebody.
I'm sorry.
A TP hoarder. You caught a hoarder.
I am sorry.
I don't think you are. You don't sound
you
sorry.
You had to buy it when you had the chance.
You know, some of us didn't, and we did okay.
No, we actually didn't have toilet paper, and so we had to order a giant crate of it through the restaurant, and they would only sell it to us by the whole crate,
by the pallet
or
whatever.
Pallet. Yeah, well, it wasn't a pallet, but it was seriously, We had like so much fucking toilet paper. Just the worst kind of like low grade, like Texaco bathroom grade toilet paper.
Oh my gosh.
For
that is really funny. Oh Lord. Anyway, John goes on to say, "I'm not saying you can't trust anybody, but I think the percentage is low."
Yeah.
Well, and Frank has proven that to all of you.
How dare you, Dan? I was just trying to get through something really difficult.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's true though. I think that like everyone who says that like people are generally good, like the sort of the heart of human beings is goodness.
Right.
I say maybe that's true right up until the point that they are scared. Mostly scared. If you scare them, all bets are off. Yeah. All of that humanity, all of that altruism is just like, fuck that. It's right out the door. How many, like the number of people that you care about that like most humans care about dwindles down very low.
Right.
The concentric circles become tiny for that period until they are no longer in
Right.
fight or flight.
But
mode.
those things, they can coexist. And you talking about the circles getting smaller, I think that's exactly right. Right. Like you're still altruistic. Those impulses are still there toward a much smaller group. Right.
Yeah.
You probably are still helping your elderly neighbor or, your circle of friends and family.
Nah,
Right.
fuck Beverly.
You're thinking
She's-
about those people, but you've sort of stopped thinking about, the wider community and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we're complicated little things, right?
We are. And yeah, exactly.
So,
And
but
this
yeah,
is-
I agree though. I think humans can be pretty difficult to trust, especially on certain areas,
Yeah, and I think it's more a matter of like watch the circumstances, because a trustworthy person in one circumstance is not trustworthy in another.
That's really true. Yeah, totally.
So there you go. Anyway, Jenny wrote into us to say, "Hey, Frank and Dan, long time, first time. I'm listening to the latest episode about CVS removing their religious exemption regarding birth control pills.
Oh yeah.
Immediately, I'm remembering my own horror story purchasing the Plan B morning after pill from my neighborhood Walgreens in Chattanooga, Tennessee, back in 2014. I was young. I was a young, naive 24-year-old who thought it would just be like purchasing any other drug from the drugstore. Not in East Tennessee.
Oh god.
I grab the Plan B and head to the checkout. The cashier lady is all smiles and asking me about my day. Then she spots the Plan B next to my Snicker bar and Diet Coke on the counter, and her smile drops. She tells me that she can't ring this up for me because of her religion. A line forms behind me, seemingly out of nowhere. She has to call overhead for extra help at the checkout multiple times while the people behind me in line watch with interest.
Oh no.
Finally, another employee comes up and moves to ring me up, but the Christian employee stops her saying, "Oh no, not on my account. You have to log into your own first."
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The woman didn't even want it on her transaction history, if that's such a thing.
Because that'll
She
be
finally-
entered into evidence in the in the court of heaven.
Exactly. Oh, to wrap things up, I finally got my pill and got out of there, pissed off and mortified. As far as I know, Walgreens still has their religious exemption in place.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What a way to get somebody to never come back to your
Oh my God.
to a
Can I just
Walgreens.
say, if
Holy fuck.
this has been your experience,
Yeah.
find your boldest, sassiest gay friend or not gay friend, but a bold, sassy somebody who wants to stick it in the eye of people like this,
Yeah.
and send them weekly or daily to buy Plan B.
Whenever
And then, distribute it to your friends or whatever, but just so that this person, and make sure that they get in that same line every goddamn time, and just make it intolerable,
Yeah.
because that's what they deserve
Oh,
for
God.
this stupid thing.
Oh golly. Should we play
Yeah.
a voicemail, Dan?
Let's do it. Who we got?
This is, I don't think they say their name, but they do bring up a really important question, very timely, because it was something that I was talking about just last night, not having heard this voicemail yet. And so I think it's a really, it's a good one. So let's have a listen.
Okay.
Hey, Frank and Dan. I'm from southeastern United States, North Carolina to be specific, and I've noticed something and seen a few blogs about something that I think needs to be considered and discussed, especially with the Tucker Carlson interview being nothing but a bunch of dog whistles, especially the point where they are saying point blank that the federal government is not controlled by the president, and basically that it would need to be removed if anything could happen. And in addition, that the war in Ukraine is a holy war, and Ukraine never had any business existing. With the things that Trump is saying on top of this about taking unitary executive power, basically martial law in so many words, being a dictator, and trying to get the military on his back. Do you feel that Democrats, depending on how far this goes closer to the election, have a reason to hold power, whether it be legal or illegally, to basically allow the United States to continue to exist? Because I more and more am of the feeling, and being proven by their own statements, that if he is reelected, Trump being reelected in November, it will be the end of the republic. Curious to hear your guys' thoughts.
Another serious question.
Yeah. And sort of in depth. Obviously, you and I are the ones who are qualified to assess this.
Well, I mean, I get the impulse to want to deny Trump power at all costs.
Yeah.
But personally, I don't know. I don't think, and I totally see where this is coming from, right? That there's this like the Democrats, would they try, right, as a party?
Yeah.
Would representatives and senators basically try to do what the Republicans tried to do, right? In denying the election and trying to deny the next guy, power. And it's these are not like things, right? Like Biden becoming president is clearly and demonstrably has not been a threat to American democracy. Quite the contrary, right?
Right.
And then you have the other guy, Trump, who is actually a threat to the democratic norms and to the democratic status quo in this country, and possibly the Constitution. Who knows? But like, are we going to be the ones? Are we going to be the ones who end the republic in order to keep the guy who probably would do it? But we don't know. And can you continue to try to fight against and sort of, I mean, I shudder to think what a second term of Donald Trump would be and do to this country. But do we do what they did? Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I think absolutely not.
Huh.
And here are a few reasons. I think that we don't know that it would be the end.
We don't know it. Yeah.
There's a sense of American exceptionalism, a wing of it that most people don't think about, which is this "it can't happen here" idea.
Right.
This happens all over the place.
Right.
We see it all the time. Despots take over presumably democratic countries.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a period of bullshit and there's a period of like crap. But the response isn't, we want our democracy back, so we'll destroy democracy to get it.
Right.
The response is, if he gets into power and starts to destroy democracy, we fight him then.
We do everything we can to try to preserve it.
Yeah.
When he actually or when there's actually a real threat to democracy. We can't be, the Democrats can't be the threat.
Right, exactly. And the other thing is that, like, also, we don't, like, the last time he was president, he tried a bunch of bullshit, but really, he didn't destroy any of, like, he definitely packed the Supreme Court. That was a problem. He created a lot of problems.
To continue to have influence over the Supreme Court?
It is vital that we vote him, that we make sure that he doesn't have a chance at this thing again.
And that's a really good point. That's the opportunity that we have right now. We need to fight tooth and nail now to get out the vote. Yeah. And to
do not brook anyone saying, "Oh, that's the same thing."
Right.
I don't like either of them, and therefore I'm not going to vote for either of them.
Oh, dear God.
That cannot fly. That must not fly. Don't let it fly.
Yeah.
But Yeah, you can go ahead and hate Biden. I'm fine with that. You still have to vote for him, though.
Hold your nose and vote for democracy.
I'm not a huge fan of Biden myself.
Yeah.
I am not. I think he's done some disastrous things. I think there's certain things about him that he's done great.
Yeah, he actually has a really there on his record. There are a lot of really great accomplishments.
Some really good check marks in the pro column, some
Yeah.
very ugly check marks in the negative column, and yet I don't give a fuck. I'm not voting for him. I'm voting against Donald Trump, and I will, that is an important vote.
I'll vote for him. I have no problem voting for Biden, right? If the choice is Biden or Trump,
Right.
I am all for Biden.
Yeah.
No question. This isn't it. Like, why does it have to be a vote against Donald Trump? I mean, great if that's what gets you out, right? But
I'm just saying Biden's by no means my ideal candidate.
no. But you get to pick from one of two.
Yeah.
It's a pretty easy choice by my account.
It
But anyway.
better be.
All right.
Yeah, we've beaten that dead horse. We have some people to thank, do we not? Wait, let me start it. I'm going to start it.
Oh.
I forgot that it's my thing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
So I'm going to start us off with Elka, who is now we'll call her a priest in our new in our magic priesthood.
Okay.
So thank you so
Fantastic.
much, Elka, for your contribution over on PayPal. And then you've got some people to thank.
I do indeed, Dan. We have a new deacon by the name of Josh. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
We have another new deacon by the name of the Special Master.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Love a good special master.
We have a new teacher by the name of Fran. Thank you very much. And we have a new priest, another new priest by the name of Amanda.
Amazing.
So thank you so much to all of y'all for supporting the show. And if you'd like to join them, you can do so by going to our website, thankgodimatheist.com, and clicking on the support tab. And
Yes, indeed.
And as always, Dan, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior, Davis.
More show coming up. Well, Frank,
Dan.
do you remember back in several years ago we reported a lot about Alabama Supreme Court Chief Justice Roy Moore?
He was high quality.
And when we reported on him, that's when I learned that Alabama elects their Supreme Court justices, and that they are very fond of Christian nutballs in that position.
That's such a good idea.
It is so good. It's so smart.
Let's let them. I'm sorry. Like I am all about democracy, clearly, right? Like I love democracy, but there are just certain positions that in a system that probably should be appointed, right?
I'm much more in the who was it? Benjamin Disraeli who said, or maybe it was Churchill who said that democracy is a terrible way to run things, but it's the best we've got.
Yeah.
I'm much closer to that. I don't love democracy, in large part because I think that neither me nor 99% of the populace knows what the hell these people do, and so we're by no means qualified to judge who will be the best at doing these jobs. I just don't think we're qualified, but it's as good as we've got.
Right.
But I think you're absolutely right that no, Supreme Court justices should definitely not be elected.
Not good. Not a good idea.
Maybe you should be allowed to vote them out, but definitely not vote them in.
I don't love that, but I think that yes. Yeah. Voting after the fact. Right?
Yeah.
Like if there's a bad judge and you can get enough people to vote against them, great idea. Fine. Yeah. Get rid of them.
Anywho, the latest out of the Alabama Supreme Court is a ruling about it's about very, very small humans. which
the smallest of humans, in fact.
the weeest little humans you can imagine. They're not really
Microscopic, in
humans.
fact.
Just
Yeah.
so that you know, they're not really humans. They're embryos.
Right.
And this is sort of an attack on in vitro fertilization.
Which,
I-
why? Like, how
Exactly.
did this come out? I'm so baffled that you
Well-
would go after IVF. Right.
I am not baffled, and I'll tell you why. This feels like the natural conclusion because when they started to trump up anti-abortion as a wedge issue that the politicians could use to claim the religious right of our country,
Right.
they used fetal personhood as the mechanism for why it mattered. They made
Yeah.
that up. It's not in the Bible anywhere. It's sure as fuck. Matter of fact, the Bible probably, like, the best interpretation of the Bible says that life begins at first breath.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a terrible biblical argument, but a good political argument if you want to rile up scared, angry people,
Right.
which is all they want to do. But the natural conclusion is like, oh shit, then what about all of these embryos, these fertilized human eggs in labs all over
Right.
the country? Do
Well-
they count?
Yeah. And to be intellectually consistent
Which they're very concerned with.
and good at.
Oh my God. No, they've never been hypocrites in their whole lives. Yeah. So recently, yeah, they ruled that these fertilized eggs are people.
They're people. They're people too, Dan.
Oh my God.
Embryonic personhood.
It is as absurd as anything could possibly, like, literally by this definition, you shouldn't be able to remove, say, a like cancer tumor. That's human cells, alive human cells.
Oh, they're coming for that next, Dan.
They're coming for that next.
coming for
cancer
cancer
treatments
treatment next,
is
yeah.
against God.
Yeah. I mean, don't say it out loud. They might actually think it. They might agree with you, Dan. They're like, oh shit, yeah, we're back on that intellectually consistent thing. Shit.
It's just
Shit. All
it's
right.
just absurd.
Well, sorry, Martha. I guess you're gonna die from
Literally, they
your
hit.
cancer.
They banged the drum of like the only point of women is making babies for, decades and decades. And then when they come up with a way for women or for people who want babies, but their bodies aren't cooperating, when they find a way when science finds a way to make that happen for them, then they find a way to fuck it up.
Oh, it's really remarkable. I do think, and this leads directly into how quickly the rest of the Republican establishment, including the Republicans in Alabama, elected Republicans in Alabama, like their governor and their legislature, that are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like the legislature immediately is like trying now to like pass a law protecting IVF, which they're not sure. Nobody's actually sure if they can, because this was a constitutional ruling, right?
Right. They're saying
quote
that
unquote constitutional ruling.
Because these ding dongs put a thing into the Constitution of Alabama that was basically like, 8-week-old babies or babies too, or whatever, it was stupid.
Yeah.
But that's what they based this on. And make no mistake about it, like it is. So when I talked about the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice,
Oh, what a peach.
who's a guy named Tom Parker.
Yeah.
This guy's a nutball, but in his concurring opinion, which he had to write his own thing, he quotes the Bible 41
times, I think was the number I saw. 40 times.
He's literally all he cares about is Jesus.
Yeah.
Like that's all. That was what this decision was about. He doesn't really care about Alabama law.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the United States of America. He doesn't care about anything but who would Jesus abort?
Yeah. And one of his key sentences that was quoted in an article I read about the thing. Honestly, you take it out of context, right? This is not a Supreme Court justice. This is a state Supreme Court justice. This is not, whatever. You just take it out of context. It is literally the rantings of a lunatic, right?
Yeah.
Like you read that sentence and you're like, oh, I want to see how much yarn he has up on his wall connecting all the dots and all the pictures and everything, because this man is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like it was, I wish I had it in front of me. Like he's talking about, like the imprint, when God's image we're made in God's image. And so and at the time of basically fertilization, God's image is imprinted on the embryo, and and I'm just like, what in the fuck are you talking? If you were standing on the corner saying this, we would be wanting you to get help, right? We would be concerned for you. Somebody needs to help that crazy guy.
Can't someone help that poor man?
Yeah.
I saw a tweet that was basically, it showed an ultrasound image and was like, this has the image of God. And I was like, and I tweeted, I guarantee you wouldn't know the difference between a human embryo and a chimpanzee embryo or a fucking gorilla embryo.
Yeah,
Are
point.
they also the image of God?
Right.
Because you can't see that difference until, anyway. I also think, unless you think that we are being too hard on Tom Parker and his nutballery, he appeared recently on Johnny Enlow. This is Johnny. We've played Johnny Enlow before on our show. He is a QAnon nut. He is a conspiracy theorist. He is he calls himself a prophet. And he is a proponent of the, quote, 7 mountain mandate.
Oh, yeah.
Which basically is sort of asserts that Christianity, it needs to take over the 7 mountains of society,
right.
Meaning government,
media,
education, media, religion, all of those things. This Chief Justice went on this nutball's show.
Yeah. I thought
that's where we're at.
Well, and he is a member of that group.
He is.
Yeah.
Nobody in their right mind, no public figure in their right mind would go on this idiot's show unless they were in full agreement with, literally the show is called Restore 7, meaning the 7 mountains.
Right. Well, all right, Dan.
Yeah. So that's where we live now. Or that's where all of you who are in Alabama live.
Yeah.
Get out while you can.
That's not always a fair thing to say.
It's not.
So
it's not.
But
I mean,
still stay in, put up the good fight. That's a great thing to say. But if you don't feel safe, you should do everything you can.
Yeah. People will help you.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. Anyway, there you go. That's the world we live in. If you would like to tell us about your Chief Justice of your Supreme Court or something wacky like that, feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Yeah. And tell us how we're right. Tell us how we're wrong. Call us at 424-666-8442.
Yeah. Hey, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click the like button.
And if you'd like to join one of our members only lounges, they're pretty awesome. You can do so at our website, thankgodimatheist.com/members only.
Yeah. Thanks so much to the Red Rock Hot Club for their use of their fine music.
And thanks to Gordon Johnston for the use of his music.
And thanks to all y'all for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.